How do I know I'm ready for a marathon? That question could be taken in a few different ways. Is this a question of how do I know I'm fit enough to do a marathon, or how do I know I'm maybe crazy enough to do a marathon? Let me work through this a few different ways. If you are meaning, how do I know I'm ready to take on the challenge of training for a marathon, preparing for a marathon, all the steps it's going to take, I suspect if you're asking this question, you already know the answer is yes. You maybe have already even signed up, and at least you are thinking about it, really thinking about it. I love that you are consciously weighing your decisions. That means you are someone who puts a lot of thought and consideration into what you do, which also means you probably really try to do your best. I'm going to infer one more thing in that maybe you are a recovering perfectionist and you're worried and you want to get it right if you're going to do it. And if that is the case, do I think you're ready for a marathon? Yes, absolutely. But I want to remind you that when you go into marathon training, it is unlike, unless you're coming, which I don't know, from the ultra world and going down, which I suspect not. Marathon training, unlike any of the shorter distances, is going to test your limits a lot more. There's a lot more potential also for injuries and for things to go wrong. And if you are going into this with, I gotta get it right, I've gotta reach this time goal or finish in this certain place, or I have to give it my absolute best, and even me saying this, I'm like clenching my fists. If you're going into it like that, are you ready for a marathon? You're in for a rude awakening, I'll be honest. And I will be honest with this. I think it is good to sign up. It is good to go for it, but let go of that perfectionism. You are not going to get through a marathon training build-up without something big going wrong. Either some kind of niggling injury, or a workout that you can't finish or blow up, or everything goes wrong, or something happens to someone you care about and you have to take a few days off. There will be something that goes wrong during this training. And so I want to remind you now that that is okay. And it happens every time. And honestly, if it doesn't happen, that probably means that it's going to happen on race day. So you'd almost rather have something go wrong during the training cycle, because it just is too rare to make it through the training cycle. And even if you did make it through the training cycle with nothing going wrong, you are probably then going into the race thinking it's going to be easier than it is. The marathon is humbling. The marathon is difficult. The marathon is going to change you. But the biggest thing to learn is that it is about the journey to get there. All you want to do is cross the finish line with that first race. Let go of goals, let go of expectations as much as you can, let go of time. The only thing you want to do is 1, get to the start line healthy, and 2, cross that finish line. That's all you need to focus on, doing your best. Now, I will say that at Running for Real, we have effort-based training plans. These are ideal for first-time marathoners because it gets you straight into the mindset of not obsessing over pace. A lot of training plans are going to push you to set a certain pace or run a certain time or help you figure this out. I really think our training plans, which you will be able to get in the show notes or below, to be able to go check it out. It would be an ideal thing for you to do if you are thinking about doing a marathon. It is a great way to get yourself in the right mindset right from the start, because typically if people come into the marathon with pace obsessions, their first race doesn't go well, maybe their second race doesn't go well, hands up, that was me, before they finally say, you know what, I just actually want to enjoy this. And then I usually did that. Well, I did this. People usually then let go of those time goals. So maybe you could get ahead of the curve, start with the effort-based training, and just make it a good experience. Because if you're going to go through all this, you want it to be a good experience. And so my point is, it's about the journey to get there. It's going to change you. You're going to be a different person for the rest of your life after this experience. And you have to remember that every step, every day, every run is a part of that journey. That is the gift, not the what you can do on race day. So are you ready for a marathon? And actually, I guess I should answer the other piece of the question, which I suspect it wasn't, but how do I know if I'm ready for a marathon? Or am I ready for a marathon? If you've been training for it, it is very, very easy especially towards the end, to be like, how am I going to do this? When you're early on, you're running 6 miles at a pace, at a speed that you maybe somewhere in the back of your mind hope that you can run for the full thing, and you're wondering how. Or maybe you're nearing the race and you're thinking, I can barely run this pace for 12 miles, or how am I going to possibly do it for 26? Again, I would remind you, that's why it's good to go with the effort-based plan. That is just about doing your best. But if you are determined to go ahead with the pacing, then I want to remind you that everyone feels this way, with a few weeks to go, with a month to go, with a week to go. Can I do this? How do I know if I'm ready? If you have done the training to the best of your ability, you can do this. Even if you haven't done it to the best of your ability because life hasn't allowed you to, you can still do this. You, my friend, can do hard things. I know you're going to be able to do this. It's going to be hard, I'm not going to lie. But you got it. So go get it.